Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Pursuit of Myself. This will be our last episode for 2025 and I'm just so proud of myself for starting this podcast. I think this is episode 29. That has blown my mind. So that means for over, 6 months, releasing one weekly, I pressed the button on this podcast and I committed and I'm doing it. And you're loving it, which I love. But that's what I wanted to connect with you guys on. I'm so grateful that you're here. This has been an incredible year personally, professionally, and all of the above. So to wish you a very, very Merry Christmas. You will get a lot out of this episode, so get a pen and paper. I really want you to connect with this on a level where you get to celebrate yourself, where you get to celebrate your wins, where you get to be proud of yourself. Even if you've had a tough year, this is really, really important. So lock in, sit down, get a wine or a cuppa, and let's celebrate our year together. Welcome to The Pursuit of Myself, the podcast. Here we take ownership of our healing. We rewrite the rules, we turn knowledge into wisdom, and we lead our lives with intention. I'm your host, Rain, and it's my mission to empower you to get back into the driver's seat of your life. As we come to the end of this year, I want to do something that a lot of us don't do very well. I want to stop and I want to celebrate. I don't want to rush into what's next. Not immediately start planning 2026 because there is such a deeper process that we really need to look at. I want to actually pause long enough to acknowledge what this year has held, what this year has done for us, to us, and really sit in that space. Because when we don't celebrate, when we don't integrate what we've created, we stay stuck in this just enough energy. We constantly chase the next big thing. We go into planning, but without acknowledging what has been, we can't plan what's to come because we don't have a knowledge or we don't have a way to go, hey, what did work, what didn't work? And the energy that we want, if we want life to be abundant, if we want to be successful, we want to have more joy, more happiness, we have to reflect on what's been and celebrate the moments where we were in that energy. Even if life, especially if life was really abundant for you this year. So this episode isn't about hustle or proving anything. It's about gratitude, alignment, and allowing ourselves to receive what we've already built. And if you're listening to this, you've held a lot this year. And you know that I've held a lot this year because you've been on this journey with me. If you have been the strong one, the responsible one, the woman who knows, the woman who keeps everything moving in her life, if you've grown quietly, but maybe you haven't fully acknowledged how far you've come, this episode is for you. Because you don't need more motivation right now. You don't need more accountability. You need recognition. You need celebration. You need space. And you need to feel how much you have already created. So I want to start this by celebrating my business openly and unapologetically. And I think this goes for so much of what we do because we are told to shut it down, don't be arrogant, keep small, don't make other people uncomfortable. What if little Betty in the room has had a shit of a year and you're celebrating yours? How are you going to make her feel? This is not how we need to be. I live in a world where a rising tide lifts all boats. I live in a world where my success means that the people around me are coming with me. I live in a world where the ripple effect of my healing is an invitation for the people around me to also heal. I live in a world where the more abundant, the more vibrant, the more alignment that I am able to express in myself, then I get to bring people on that journey with me. And that is how I live. My light shines and others become bright also. So here we go. This year, my business grew by 40%. And I want to be really, really clear about something. That growth didn't come from me doing more, forcing more, or pushing myself harder. That growth came from alignment. It came from trusting my energy instead of overriding my uncomfortable feelings. It came from making cleaner and clearer decisions that were in alignment with what felt right to me. It came from working in my overflow and in my abundance instead of in my scarcity and survival. And this was also the year I launched my podcast, beautiful, long form, honest conversations where I could lead, teach, reflect, and share without shrinking or performing. I think I know like Instagram only gives me a certain amount of platform, and I've been called to do this podcast because it is so in alignment with my authentic energy. And as you know, that's why I've started, but I want to celebrate that. The myself brand became so much clearer for me. I know the woman that I am working with, my offers, the clarity that comes with what the transformation is when you get to work with me, the life you get to build when you choose to work with me. My work became more embodied, and that is the ripple effect that I'm at now bringing to my clients. My offers became more aligned with my standards. And that is something that I really want to celebrate, because in a world where we where we default to pushing and hustling, where we are like trying different things to see what fits, where, I don't even think I asked anyone on Instagram, what do you guys want to hear more from me this year? Which is something that, we're taught to do for years in the Instagram strategy, the marketing. It's like, no, I'm going to bring to my email list, to my marketing, myself. I want to share. And that alignment has allowed me to grow my business. And I really want to bring this home for any coaches or anyone who is building a business at the moment. You can get pulled in so many different directions of strategy, but when you find that sweet spot with what is aligned with you, what works with you, when you are clear about that, when you have done the work to deep dive into your soul and know your soul's blueprint, that is how you grow. That is how you scale. Okay. And I've seen it over and over and over again. It allowed me to stop operating from this chasing, from this just enough energy. And I started asking, what does this look like when I trust that there is more available? What does this look like when I'm experiencing what's more available? What does this look like when I'm already in the energy of what I'm trying to create? And that's when 2025, the business, it responds. Again, not from more hours, not from more hustle, but from aligned action. One of the greatest privileges of this year has actually been watching my clients transform, not just in really obvious ways of, money and launching businesses, but in like really deep, lasting ones. Because I've watched women move out of survival. I've watched women trust themselves to make decisions. I've watched women release guilt and over responsibility. We have regulated nervous systems instead of burnout. I've watched women raise their standards in business, relationships, and in their life. Now, these biggest wins, and I know we can get muddled up with all the crap we see on social media, these biggest wins aren't the loud ones. These aren't the ones where you're like 20K months and whatever. You think about what it is in your business and this many clients. And these are the wins that get to stick with you forever. These are the life-changing energetic shifts that you get to stick in your soul and have the lasting change, the deep lasting change, right? These wins are permanent. And this is what I want to celebrate, because my clients didn't just change their habits or implement new strategy. They changed how safe it feels to be themselves. They changed their relationship with fear so that they could step into those uncomfortable moments. And I witnessed women coming home to themselves again and again. And this is something I will never, ever take for granted. I also want to celebrate my life and my family, because abundance isn't just what we create. It's what we have the capacity to enjoy. If we're not enjoying our reality, if we're not enjoying the moments in our life what are we doing this for, right? This year, I've managed to find presence. I've chosen joy alongside ambition, the duality. I've allowed rest without the guilt. I've let life feel spacious instead of constantly urgent, constantly desperate, constantly needing to do the thing, needing to do the next thing. And that, to me, as a single mum with 3 kids, that is real, real success. Being able to build a business I love and have the nervous system capacity to actually live my life, that is alignment. That is the goal. I'm living in it right now. And I heard this on a podcast the other day. Before we keep going, I want to speak to the woman who's listening to this episode and feeling that pull in her chest, the woman who knows she's outgrown the identity she's been living inside. If you're realizing that your success has been built from just enough, or you can feel yourself in these patterns of overfunctioning, chasing, minimizing your brilliance, this is your invitation. The Myself Academy applications are officially open. This is my 6-month identity, emotional leadership, and wealth capacity mentorship for the entrepreneurial woman who is done surviving her own life and ready to actually lead it. We don't do surface level mindset. We don't do affirmations. We rebuild the woman behind the business so she can hold more money, more expansion, more ease, more self-respect without collapsing into old patterns. If you're listening and thinking, this is me, this is the work I've been avoiding, then it probably is. You can apply or learn more by sending me a DM on Instagram with the word enough. All right, let's get back into the episode. And it said, stop chasing abundance. And when you realize you are the abundance, your whole life will change. I was like, shit, that's right. I am the abundance, not how big my business is, not the status of my relationship, not how much money I have in the bank account, not how many Christmas presents my kids get. Like my worth and my abundance, I am the abundance, the way I show up every single day. And that was really pivotal when I heard that. So amongst all these wins and celebrations and life-changing moments and breakthroughs and transformations, I think the biggest lesson that this year has taught me is this. Alignment isn't passive, it's intentional. Alignment is self-trust. Alignment is listening to your energy. Alignment is choosing to live from overflow over just enough. And when I stopped bracing and started trusting, things had to expand. My business didn't need more strategy from me. It didn't need more hours. It needed a different version of me. And that's really what shifted everything else. And when that shifted, everything else just followed. It was like pieces of the puzzle that just started putting themselves together. So I want to invite you into your little celebration. I want to invite you into an opportunity to reflect on your year and reflect on your choices and declare what happened, say it out loud so that you can end this year with a beautiful little smile on your face, even if you have had the toughest year. And I know so many of you have had tough years. I just actually got off the call with one of my new clients and she's had 3 bereavements this year, really deep ones, really close. And I'm just like, that is tough. That is so tough. And even in this tough season, we are able to find things that she can celebrate. That's the beautiful duality in life. We can be in deep grief and still find little snippets and moments of joy, right? We can be in gratitude for our life and still want to experience more. We don't have to be one or the other. Yes, there are seasons where the scale and the balance tips, but you can always find moments in the duality of what you're experiencing. So I want to invite you to do this with me over the next 2 weeks. This week 1 is about celebration and integration. So I want you to name, get your pen and paper out. I want you to name your tangible wins, like the moments that you really said yes to yourself, where you chose growth, any decisions that you're proud of, things that you started, maybe goals that you actually completed. For me, another one that's just popped into my mind is exercise. I decided that I really wanted to be fit and healthy this year. Now, as I say, that sounds really stupid because I've always been really fit and healthy, and health has been one of my values and my top priorities for many years, but I wanted it in a different way. I wanted to be strong. I wanted to start weights because I knew that at my 42 years of age, weights is one of the best things you can do for your health. So that was a goal, and I have managed to keep that up twice a week, 15 a.m. sessions, and I feel freaking fantastic. Oh my gosh, I feel so good. So there's another win. So I want you to go through your wins, your decisions that you're proud of, because celebrating tells your nervous system, it tells it that it's actually safe to receive more. When we can acknowledge the things that we've achieved and done and moments we've chosen ourselves and moments we've shone bright, we are telling ourselves, you know what, this feels good and it is safe to receive more. When we downplay, when we brush things under the carpet, good and bad, but I'm talking about the good things that we do, right? When we just, oh no, it's okay. No, celebrate your growth and your wins. That's week 1. In week 2, then I want you to declare who you're choosing to be in 2026. Who do you choose to be in 2026? And this is not from pressure, because we have just celebrated. I want you to do it from the energy of celebration. I want you to do it from clarity. And I want you to ask yourself these questions. What version of me has expired, right? Where am I still living out of alignment? Where does it feel sticky in my life? Okay. And the next question is, what standard am I ready to hold? Now, the reason we need to shine a light like this is because this is the perfect portal. You can do this any time of the year, but right now it's like in that nearly Christmas, before New Year's. This is the time where we can really declutter, de-stress, get rid of shit, including what version of you that has expired, that you are no longer aligned with. And then after you have done that, and the reason I do week 1 and week 2 is because I do want you to have some time and space. This isn't about just sitting down. This is like pausing and really writing and really getting into these questions. And then I want you to complete this sentence. In 2026, I am a woman who, and finish that. In 2026, I'm a woman who. Mine lives from overflow. In 2026, I'm a woman who is the abundance. In 2026, I'm the woman who doesn't get distracted. That's one of my things. In 2026, I'm a woman who trusts her gut instinct. In 2026, I'm a woman who is self-led. In 2026, I am a woman who makes no more excuses, right? Whatever that works for you, write it down. Write it, say it loud, let it anchor you. Really, really go there. Who are you? Who are you going to be next year? This year for me was not about proving anything. It wasn't about validation. And for the first time, I really feel like the embodiment and the alignment is what I credit the success and the growth, not only of my business, but of me personally, of my family, of the connections, of my lover, of all the things that 2025 has brought. And it's nice to finish a year like 2025 being really proud that you know that the work you put in through the year is coming up in spades, that you know that facing all those hard fears and still moving forward anyway is what is creating the abundance, is when you know that your alignment is what gives you success, when you get to trust yourself every time something happens that might just trip you up, you get to stand up and say, you know what, I get it, I've been there, and I'm still moving towards my goals, and I'm still moving towards what I want next year, and I still want to experience more. And that is the beauty. We don't need to hit rock bottom so that we're motivated to actually make any changes. We can still have a really good year and want more. So, and this is my wish for you. It's that you get to remember who you are and allow life to meet you there. I want you to celebrate what you've created, honor what you've lived, and trust that alignment always creates room for more. 2026, it doesn't just start in January. It honestly starts with who you are choosing to be now. So ask yourself, do these exercises, reflect, give yourself the love, the softness, the space that you deserve, and really reflect and really honor the person that you need to become to have and experience the most incredible, joyous, successful, abundant life that is available to you right now. You can do this. You absolutely can do this. I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being on this beautiful journey, and wishing you all an incredible, beautiful Christmas and a very abundant new year. Much love.